I haven't heard my son's voice in 12 years. Not on my birthday, not on Christmas, not even when his mother passed. And for all that time, I told myself it was his fault. My name is Robert. I'm 76 years old, and 3 weeks ago, I finally understood why he stopped calling.
It started with a shoebox. I was cleaning out the garage, something Margaret used to nag me about for years, and I found it wedged behind some paint cans on the top shelf. Inside were letters, dozens of them, all addressed to me, all from my son Daniel, all postmarked from different years. Some were opened, most weren't. I sat down right there on the concrete floor and started reading. The first one was from 1997, just after he'd graduated college. He was writing to tell me about a job offer in Seattle, asking if I thought he should take it. I don't remember ever getting that letter. I certainly don't remember responding. The next one was from 1999. He'd gotten engaged. Her name was Sarah. He wanted me to meet her. There was a photo tucked inside, the two of them smiling on a beach somewhere. I stared at that photo for a long time. I'd never seen it before. Then I found one from 2003. It was longer than the others. He wrote about how hard he'd been trying to connect with me, how every conversation felt like pulling teeth, how he didn't know what else to do. He said he wanted to understand me, wanted to know the man his mother had fallen in love with. He asked if we could try therapy together. That letter was still sealed. I never opened it. The last letter was dated February 2012. It wasn't long, just 3 paragraphs. He wrote that he'd had a son, my grandson, and they'd named him Robert. He said he'd tried calling to tell me, but I hadn't picked up. He said he was done waiting for me to care. He said he loved me anyway, and that if I ever changed my mind, he'd be there. That was the last time he reached out. I spent the next 3 days in that garage, reading and rereading every word, and slowly, like ice melting, I started to remember. I remembered him calling during dinner and me saying I'd call him back, then forgetting. I remembered him visiting one Christmas and me spending most of the time in my workshop because I didn't know what to say to him. I remembered the look on his face when I told him his career choice was impractical, when I criticized his wedding venue, when I said I was too busy to meet his wife. I remembered all of it, and I'd convinced myself it was normal. That's just how fathers and sons are. We don't talk about feelings. We don't make a fuss.
But that wasn't it at all. The truth is, I was scared. My own father never showed me affection, never asked how I was doing, never said he was proud of me. He worked, he provided, and that was supposed to be enough. So that's all I knew how to do. When Daniel was born, I thought if I could just give him a stable home and pay for his education, that would be love. I didn't know you were supposed to actually talk to them, to ask questions, to be interested in their lives, not because you're checking a box, but because you genuinely care. Margaret tried to tell me. God, she tried. She'd say, "Robert, call Daniel, he misses you," or "Robert, he's trying so hard, can't you see that?" And I'd get defensive. I'd say he was being dramatic, that he needed to toughen up, that I turned out fine without all this emotional stuff. But I didn't turn out fine. I turned out exactly like my father. Alone in a house full of things that don't matter, having pushed away the one person who did. I thought about calling him after I found those letters. I picked up the phone a dozen times. But what do you say after 12 years of silence? How do you apologize for a lifetime of being absent even when you were standing right there? I kept imagining him picking up and hearing my voice and just hanging up. And I'd deserve it. So instead, I wrote him a letter. I told him I found his letters. I told him I was sorry. I told him about his mother's last days, how she kept asking if he was coming, and how I'd lied and said he was probably just busy. I told him about the photo of him and Sarah that I keep on my nightstand now. I told him I'd love to meet my grandson, if he'd let me. And I told him that he was right about everything, and that I understand now why he had to walk away. I mailed it 4 days ago.
I don't know if he'll read it. I don't know if he'll respond. But I know this. For 12 years, I convinced myself that he abandoned me, that he was ungrateful, that he didn't understand how hard I worked for him, that he was too sensitive. I built an entire story in my head where I was the victim. And it was all a lie.
The truth is simpler and so much worse. He didn't leave because he stopped loving me. He left because loving me was breaking his heart over and over, and I never even noticed. He kept showing up, kept trying, kept hoping I'd meet him halfway, and I just didn't. I thought being a man meant being strong and silent and self-reliant. I didn't realize it just made me empty. I'm 76 years old. My wife is gone. My son hasn't spoken to me in over a decade, and I have a grandson I've never met who shares my name but will probably never know me. I did this, not because I'm a monster, but because I convinced myself that love was supposed to look like distance, like toughness, like silence. If you have someone in your life who keeps trying to reach you, who keeps showing up even when you don't make it easy, please don't do what I did. Don't tell yourself you'll get to it later, that they'll understand, that this is just how things are. Because one day you'll be sitting in a garage reading letters you never answered, and you'll realize that the thing you thought made you strong was actually just fear. And by then, it might be too late. I don't know if Daniel will forgive me. I don't know if I'll ever get to hold my grandson or tell him I'm sorry I wasn't there. But I know this. If I could go back and do it all again, I'd put down the newspaper when he walked in the room. I'd ask him about his day and actually listen to the answer. I'd tell him I was proud of him, not just once, but all the time. I'd let him see me cry when his mother died instead of locking myself in the garage. I'd choose him over my pride every single time. Because that's what love is. It's not silence. It's not strength. It's showing up even when it's hard, even when you don't have the right words, even when it scares you. I just wish I'd learned that before it was too late.